This week, Stephanie and I take a deep dive into Manila's sexy and sophisticated brand new cocktail culture.
The foam is good by itself. I would have it on top of my coffee.
Welcome to the brave new world of booze. And yes, Manila can be the next cocktail capital of Asia.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
One thing, however, has never changed. It's that when we drink, we eat. And though however fancy schmancy it can get, the ubiquitous pulutan or bar chow will always be a mainstay, and something perhaps some of us enjoy even more than our alcoholic beverages.
I'm Spanky Enriquez, and I've been blogging about food for 10 years. I also write for the Philippine Star's Let's Eat magazine, and this time we're going to TV. I really love food, and how can I not?
I'm Stephanie Zubiri-Crespi, food, travel, and lifestyle journalist with an insatiable hunger for life and all the deliciousness it has to offer. I love the stories behind the plate and produce. Join us as we dig deeper into the stories and into the dishes. Let's eat!
The Long Bar at the Raffles in Singapore is probably the most historic bar in the whole wide world. And now, the Philippines at the Raffles Makati has its very own Long Bar.
I'm here at the Raffles Makati. And when you say the word Raffles, you think about Singapore's legendary hotel. And when you mention this hotel, you can't help but mention the century-old and iconic, the most iconic bar in the world probably, the Long Bar. And Makati now has its own Long Bar, and I'm here to try out whether our own Makati Sling is as good as the Singapore Sling.
Sir, good afternoon. Welcome to Long Bar.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Orman.
How's the day?
I'm all right.
Some peanuts?
Of course, we're at the Long Bar. We gotta have the peanuts. Since this is their Long Bar, we have to sample the most iconic cocktail to ever come out of the Long Bar. One of the all-time most legendary cocktails in the world. The Singapore Sling.
Your Singapore Sling?
The classic Singapore Sling. Let me taste it because you put gin here. That's the quintessential British liquor, and I can taste it all. I can taste the botanicals from the gin, the spice actually from the cherry, the sweetness from the tropical juices, and the tartness from the lemon. So it's a very refreshing drink. It's a great drink, and it really befits the legend that's been affixed to it. A lot of people go to the Long Bar in Singapore specifically just for this. And our next drink, I think, is the Philippine version. What do you call it?
The Makati Luxury.
The Makati Luxury Sling. The foam looks pretty good.
Very sour.
The foam is good by itself. I would have it on top of my coffee. Wow. This seems, on first sip, a bit stronger. It's very different, color-wise. It's got foam. It's got a different kind of gin. It's got, instead of a cherry herring, you've got cherry blossom. And again, what makes it this drink like a boss. The flecks of gold, edible 24-karat gold, are reflected back at me, almost as if winking at me. This is an irresistible drink. I love the Singapore Sling. This is the legendary classic, but this new one from the Raffles Bar, this is now my new favorite sling. I always like to say that the most iconic bar would have to be the Long Bar. It's a place of deep history. The next century, what do we have in store for the Long Bar? What can we expect?
The Singapore Sling is celebrating its 100th anniversary, and as such, we've looked at a cocktail possibly to rival that for the next 100 years, and to find a drink that rivals that. We are developing with a small distiller back in the UK our own gin, so-called Raffles gin. We're looking at doing that towards the end of the year, and that will be the base of that new cocktail per se.
But I've always been a gin drinker, and the botanicals, the aromas, the scents, they intoxicate me not just with the alcohol, but with the aromas and the spirits as well. And I learned to drink this at a very early age, and I'm very happy that everyone seems to be catching up with my preference for even something as simple as a gin and tonic. And 2015, everyone seems to be discovering gin and
It is, yes.
At the same time.
It is definitely a trending spirit at the moment, and gin is, as you said, I think it's a very easy drinking spirit. It's been around for a while, but it's definitely making its resurgence this year, and so obviously that plays in our cards.
The Long Bar is indeed famous for its cocktails, but for me, what really sets it apart from any other bar, your bar chow. In particular, this chicharron, these pork rinds. Okay, let me just say it. These are the best I've had. What makes them so good, man?
Look, well, obviously they're freshly made every day, and our chefs do have a signature rub that they're using that they get treated with. It's the perfect mix of spices, of savory, of sour. A bit of a kick to it that makes them stand on its own. Like you don't actually need anything with it.
And still, I've got this very colonial British feel about it. I'm drinking gin, I'm drinking whiskey from Scotland, and at the same time, I'm eating Filipino chicharron. It's a beautiful experience. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And I'm very sure that the Long Bar will have a long and lasting presence here in the Philippine bar scene as well.
Thank you.
Let's drink to that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Cheers.
Let's Eat is not your ordinary food show. Here we don't just politely and pleasurably gobble up dishes. We like to stir the pot. Join us for a fun sensory adventure that will most definitely leave you hungry and asking for more. What are you waiting for? Let's eat!